Hi, you're with India Post Live, India's first online news conversation web TV. I'm Ishan Russell, and India Post Live is, of course, a forum for you to participate in. You can come in via social media, use Twitter, hashtag India Post Live to your tweets, or use our Twitter handle at India Post Live. You can go to Facebook and log in and post a comment over there on our Facebook page of India Post Live. And also, you can go to indiapostlive.com. That's the website where you can watch this live right now as well as later. And you can watch the other videos we have for you out there for you to really comment upon, because there's a wall which we would like for you to comment. So participate. You can even come in via Google Hangout and Skype and ask our experts questions and make commentary. So it's really up to you to participate. So be the news is what we say over here. And what are we talking about today? Well, something that is really going to be making news in the coming days, and that itself is the monsoon. Yes, it's been delayed by almost 2 weeks. 15 days is what the Met Department has said. What does this really mean for the economy? What does this mean for agriculture? We'll be examining all those questions. But first, let's tell you about the monsoon itself and why it's been delayed.
It's confirmed. The first spell of monsoon rain will hit you almost 15 days after the expected forecast date. According to the India Meteorological Department, the monsoon is expected to hit Kerala on the 5th of June and move towards central India only by the 20th of June. Last year, India had received the monsoon showers by the 16th of June. According to the IMD, there is a 60% chance of the El Nino weather phenomenon forming this year. The monsoon accounts for 70% of the country's rainfall and is critical to the country's economy, as 60% of our farmland is rain-fed. So, will the delayed monsoon play spoilsport to the Modi government?
Pond5.com.
All right, and to help us understand this, we have with us Dr. Viju Krishnan. He's the Joint Secretary of the All India Kisan Sabha. Thank you very much for coming in, Dr. Krishnan. We also have from Thiruvananthapuram, Vincent Kurian. He is the Assistant Editor of the Hindu Business Line. Thank you very much for coming in, Mr. Kurian. Also, Dr. Dinesh Shetty will be joining us. He's the Managing Director of Ponalab Biogrowth Private Limited in Bangalore. And Professor Sudhir Pawar is with us. He's the President of the Kisan Jagriti Manch, and he'll be joining us from Lucknow. But Dr. Krishnan, starting with you, as far as the monsoon is concerned, how real are these fears of this delayed monsoon having an adverse impact on agriculture and subsequently the economy?
It is a serious situation. Already in many of the states in our country, the temperatures are very high. There's a heat wave kind of situation. For instance, in Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, everywhere about 5 degrees Celsius higher than usual. According to a study, even a 2 degrees Celsius increase would lead to a reduction in productivity drastically. For instance, in wheat, according to a study by Professor M.S. Swaminathan and others, about 750 kgs per hectare would be the fall in production. So this is with a 2 degrees Celsius rise. Now it is up to 5 to 6 degree rise in Celsius, and the rains are still to come. That is the problem that we are going to face. The farmers are in a serious situation, and the government, whether it's the last as well as the present, is still to get into the issue seriously and try to come with some remedial measures.
All right, Vincent, as somebody who, as is from the state where the monsoon is expected to hit the first over there, and that on the 5th of June, but how does it look to you? And as far as the fears of this delayed monsoon affecting agrarian economy and the economy in general, what do you make of this?
I don't think it's going to be delayed in the sense that, the normal date of onset is the 1st of June. So we are talking about just 4 days of delay in terms of the onset happening. But the real fear about the monsoon is the onward progress of the monsoon from the south of India towards the north. So that's where the real issue, happens. But as your panel member said, the heat wave, it has to be there. The heat wave has to build to a level where the plains of northwest India has to heat up to a particular level. Only then can the monsoon flows come in, from the south. Because when the heat builds up over the Rajasthan area, the northwest of India, then the pressure there lowers, the ambient pressure lowers, And then Kerala, the area around Kerala becomes the higher pressure area. So the air has to flow from a higher pressure area to a low pressure area. That's how the monsoon flows, takes place. If you look at, technically speaking. So I was concerned about the fact that was, the heat wave was being delayed in Rajasthan because actually it was dislocated if you look at it in terms of what happened this year because the heat wave at until May 2025 it was actually the heat was building over the east of India, Chhattisgarh, Bihar, and other places. And there was thunder showers. If you recall, last Friday's thunderstorm in Delhi, massive thunderstorm, breaking up power and doing all sorts of, and 40 people I think have been killed along that swathe of geography from the Rajasthan into East India. So that particular storm actually brought down the temperature in Rajasthan and the northwest of India. So that was actually doing a harm to the monsoon onset conditions, which we know about. So the heat wave has to be there for the monsoon coming from the west or from the south into the north. So I think the heat wave has not been as severe as we expected it to be, at least in the Rajasthan area. It got dislocated into the east of India, and the model predictions, as I see from the Western, the US models, are saying that the first rains, as it progresses from the south of India, will actually, most of the rains are now looking at to expand to the east of India, along the east coast of India into West Bengal,
Right.
Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Normally, it should actually be higher, the rain should be heavier on this side, the Kerala and Konkan, Mumbai, belt. But I don't think I don't see that happening this time of the this season.
All right. So,
So that is sorry.
no, I was just
Yeah,
saying.
please
So,
go ahead.
would this be then technically the first challenge for the Modi government because a shortfall in monsoon? I mean, monsoon not going along traditional lines would mean a big crisis in terms of prices of commodities.
Yeah, crisis in terms of the fact that we already have forecasts which are saying the northeast of India will be very hard hit due to paucity of rain this year, especially Gujarat, Rajasthan, So the entire northwest of India will be short in terms of rain, but the east is actually looking better in terms of forecasts which are available right now. South also is, you heard of very significant rain for this year.
All right, Dr.
So
Sudeep
this will
Pawar
be
is with us also from the president of the Kisan Jagrati Manch. Joins us from Lucknow. Thank you very much for coming in, Professor. The Indian Met Department has said there's a 23% likelihood of drought. What the Vincent has been saying is that it is still not that bad. What would you make of it? Professor Panwar, can you hear us?
Actually,
Yeah.
what meteorology department said,
Yes.
hello,
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, as per this IMD forecast, it is now looking certain that we are going to face this flood condition in northern India. So the farmers are still in the middle of sowing of paddy and other crops which are more dependent on monsoons. So definitely it will impact the prospects of the kharif crops in this area.
All right. We also have Dr. Dinesh Shetty. He's joining us from Bangalore. He's a managing director of Ponalab Biogrowth Private Limited. Dr. Dinesh Shetty, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, hi.
Go.
We've been just talking about the monsoon delay. The kind of information that we're getting right now, it's not that much of a delay, but even as Dr. Krishnan pointed out, a rise of 2 degrees in temperature could adversely affect the economy. So, what would you make of the situation as far as agriculture is concerned?
Well, as far as the ground level is concerned, the farmers are doing their job. They're already started plowing the land. No doubt, because of delayed monsoon, there is erratic power supply, as well as the groundwater has gone down dramatically. So farmers have almost the places where the monsoon was supposed to start, say end of May. The late showers have started, and they have already started. In fact, many places even the farmers have started sowing. So I don't think this will not be a big issue if the monsoon starts say next 5 to 10 days. If it goes on fine, then there should not be any problem anywhere.
All right, Dr. Krishnan, but the fact is that at the end of the day, we are still an economy, an agrarian economy, dependent upon monsoons for our agriculture. Do we have enough in terms of if things go horribly wrong? Do we have enough of in terms of backups, in terms of plans?
No, it cannot be seen just in terms of buffer stocks. Unfortunately, the government is looking only at the buffer stocks that we have. As far as farmers are concerned, it is their entire livelihood depends on this, and that is where the government falls short. It is only talking about contingency plans. If you look at the international response, even small city councils in countries like Philippines, Indonesia, they have a plan. In Japan, they have when the sowing should happen. In our country, the extension services have collapsed because of the government policies. So to disseminate this information, timely information, and what should be the strategy to cope with, there is no proper mechanism. And to expect that through SMS you can address these problems, that is an illusion.
Kisan call centers, SMS, technology has been tried to be used for the benefits of farmers, but has it percolated down onto the ground?
No, it is not to the extent that it should. And the earlier system of extension services with agriculture research stations and also agriculture officers going to the field and disseminating information to the farming community, that was something very different. If you see, even now in many of the developed countries, even now this system exists, whereas in our country we have dismantled that.
All right. So really, for the government and for the new government, really a lot to think about, because the challenges certainly are there. But as far as production is concerned, did you see food production, given the kind of weather that we've already seen? I mean, what people had been telling me, because of the freak weather that has been happening of storms, Dr. Shetty, things could be a little difficult for Narendra Modi government as far as agricultural products are concerned.
Hello.
Yes, Dr. Shetty, I was asking you.
Yeah, I don't think government. I think it has come. It's a new government, and I don't think our the agriculture officers or the people in the ministry are not aware of the problem. Definitely, they would have a solution to take care of all these natural calamities or whatever you call it.
All right,
I,
but yeah. Dr. Pawar, I want to come to you, because as far as the government's response in the past is concerned, I mean, how have we handled such delays as far as monsoon? Because it seems to be a recurring conversation we have every year in May and June.
So what farmer need at this time is just advisory from the government, right?
Right.
About the variety of seeds and some short supply of electricity which can be used for the irrigation. Actually, we can save advisory.
All right, we seem to have lost that connection, but I'll put the same question to you, Vincent. The first real challenge, and in terms of planning, have we planned well enough, and have we learned from what has been happening in the past in terms of delays? Because now we certainly are heading towards becoming a sufficient economy, so to say, as far as our agricultural production is concerned, but a lot more lacunae is still left.
Yeah, but I think the new government has a lot of time to think and come out with a proper response because we happen to be sitting on a great mountain. The only issue is setting up the kind of supply chain which actually ferries the grains required. Which is saying a lot. But the past government, I think, has not been addressing this particular aspect during its term of for the last 5 years or so. But I think if we can set our supply chain in a fine fettle, I think there's no problem going ahead with even if the monsoon were to fail this time, because we're talking from a position of strength insofar as the availability of grain is concerned. The only thing, as I said, is getting around with moving the system. So I just hope that the new government, which is I think seemingly very proactive in terms of addressing the various challenges in the economy, will also be able to give proper attention to this particular issue and come up with some good propositions.
Hello.
All right. Dr. Krishnan, final word to you. What would your advice be to the new government as far as dealing with whether a delayed monsoon or not, but on the agricultural side?
Actually, it has to be a long-term planning. What happens is we are always having only some contingency plans. When a contingency arises, then a set of. But this El Nino effect itself and recent changes in the weather itself is something which is over a long term. It has been placed, but the government is not having anything. For instance, disseminating the technology which will require less water. It is and El Nino effect is not just that there will be reduced monsoon. There could be unseasonal rains. There could be total drought. Even unseasonal rain, for instance, in mid season for wheat would be good, but in harvesting season is going to be bad. So these kind of issues, when it strikes, then the government thinks about, yes, you should go in for short duration crop, but it's already too late. We need to think well in advance. We need to have a system in place which will educate the farmers or help or assist the farmers. Farmers also are knowledgeable as far as the crop cycles and all that is concerned. Should go to them and ensure that they implement some of these policies which will counter or at least to some extent try to address the problems of less monsoon.
All right, so we'll wrap up on that note, but really the government has a lot to plan for, and promises certainly have been made, and will they be kept? Well, that's up for you to question and answer also. Thank you very much all of you for coming in, Dr. Dinesh Shetty and Professor Pawar from Lucknow, also Vincent Kurian, thanks very much for joining us from Thiruvananthapuram, and Dr. Krishnan, thank you very much for coming in. Well, that was a brief presentation on the monsoons, the delay of the monsoons. What do you think about it? Write into us, tell us, talk to us. We'll for surely put your views also across. Thanks so much for watching.